Hi there, Andy here. When I was on the career exchange for the last year, I put on quite a little bit of weight. I'm now almost 15 stone. So I'm going to teach myself a bit of cookery, and I'm going to eat really healthy, and I'm going to try and cut my calories. So today I'm just making some scrambled eggs, but with a bit of a twist. Now I've washed my hands already. So I'm going to crack the eggs into here. I've got 2 eggs. They're just cracked into there. Get rid of that. And I'm going to crack the other egg into here. Right, now because I'm touching eggs, or I'm touching eggshells, these have salmonella, or there's a danger of salmonella. I'd already washed my hands before I started. I'm going to wash them again. It's really important. I have done a food hygiene course many years ago when I used to work in a pub. So I can tell you it's really important. You do not want to be giving your sainted Aunt Anna food poisoning, or yourself for that reason. Now, if you just come over and see the pan, I'm going to put a little bit of milk in, just a bit. I can add a bit more. If you put too much milk in, it's going to be hard to get the eggs right, but it will get right. And this is the little twist I was talking about. It's turmeric, ground turmeric. They use it in Indian cooking. I'm just going to put a bit in, not a lot. I think that's enough. And now I'm going to turn this ring on, and I'm going to put it on maybe about 8, and I'm going to just do that there, break all this up. If I've got a bit too much milk in, it will just take longer to burn some of the milk off. Right, there we go, and I'm going to put that there. Now, the average guy, I'm going to put the lid on there, needs about 2,200 to 2,400 calories a day if they're not that active. I'm not that active. I find it hard to walk distance. So the way that I need to lose weight is by cutting calories. Now, I've done my research on this with the scrambled eggs. Now, 2 slices of brown bread, and brown bread is much better for you than white bread. 2 slices of sliced brown bread, that is going to be, what did I work it out to? You can get all this info off Google. So I got an egg is approximately 150 calories, so 2 eggs, that's 300 calories. 2 slices of brown bread, I think they're about 100 calories each, so that's 500 calories. So I haven't had any breakfast. This is now my first 500 calories a day. I'm going to give this a bit of a stir, and we're just going to keep going. Now I've got some brown bread here. They're actually quite little slices, so that's probably, I don't know, about 2-ish slices. So I'm just going to put those in the toaster and wait. This will take a few minutes. I'm kind of going to have this done, I think, within kind of 10 minutes. And I will be editing this video down a little bit. Just kind of keep it stirring. I'm now going to turn this up to 11 and try and get a bit of heat out to it. But I'm watching it very carefully. As soon as it really begins to heat up, I am going to turn it down. You keep the lid on it just to keep the heat in. It helps it cook better. It will save you a little bit of electricity. But obviously, you need to keep stirring it from time to time. I'm just going to come over and we'll just have a look at the pan and how we're going. So nothing really has happened yet, but it is all quite nicely mixed together. You notice that it's perhaps a little bit more yellow than it would be, and that's the turmeric. We use it in Indian cooking, and it's kind of mood enhancing. So you're not going to be like smelling colours or anything, or like tripping the light fantastic, but it will enhance your mood. So if you've got a little bit of mental health, perhaps you're slightly bipolar, if you're having a bad day, this is a brilliant meal for you. It really is, and it's proper tasty as well. So we're just going to keeping on, giving it a little bit of a stir. Nothing much happening here yet. So we're just going to stir. As I said, I'll be editing this video down. I'm still turned up to 11 on the thing there. Just put that on there. So when you're dieting, it's really important that you just get a balanced diet, which is, at least one really good cooked meal a day. I'm talking vegetables, potatoes, rice, that kind of thing. Cutting meat is a wonderful thing to do. There's nothing wrong with having meat. Maybe not every day though. Red meat is a really bad thing for you. So swapping out some of the red meat Maybe having some fish. I mean, fish fingers use white meat. That's an easy move, just get them out of the packet. You know, chicken stuff. Chicken is, again, white meat, and it's so much better for you. Oh, if we can come over here now, back to the pan, you're going to see that this is beginning to kind of thicken up a little bit. So I'm going to turn it down, and I'm going to just flip my flip on the toaster. There we go. Remember to turn the toaster on. So that will be doing that, and then we just come back and stir. I've turned the heat down, as I said, just a little bit. There we go. So I think I've got the milk element just about right. If you can see it on the bottom of the pan, it's starting to solidify, which is why you just need to keep it turning. Very important to turn this down. So I've turned it down to 8. I may even turn it down a little bit more. And I don't think we've even been cooking this 5 minutes. It just shows you how easy it is just to make a nice meal. When I was on the CX, I used to have, have I got it here? Oh, I don't know where it is. I used to have a little food flask, which was great. And I would just put a can of soup in there, take some bread along with me. And that was a nice kind of low calorie meal. And it's so much better than just pulling up and getting a bacon sandwich every day, which is just not good for you, and that is really going to pile the pounds on. And of course the food flask meant that, you know, in the winter I had a nice kind of warmish meal. I was really pleased about it. Used to take a flask of coffee with me as well. It just amazes me that people on the CX, they go, oh, you know, I need to get a cup of tea, and they pay what, I don't know, maybe £2 or something for a cup of tea, and then you've got to find somewhere to sell you a cup of tea, so you're driving around. Nothing easier than just pulling up in the lay-by and having a nice warm cup of tea out of your flask. I used to have 2 big ones, and I used to have a little one, which was just kind of black decaf coffee, which was just nice and warm. And the little flask didn't keep things quite as warm, but it was good to have. Now and again, I would just take a pot noodle with me for a bit of variety. I don't think pot noodles are great nutrition, but they, you know, they fill the hole. Something I used to do every couple of weeks, and you just have boiling water in that flask. There we go. Now that if we come over here, great. That's my first bit of toast done. You can see now that it's getting proper lumpy. I'm going to turn that down now, and I'm just going to move over here. And butter the first couple of pieces of bread. I mean, this is just such a quick meal. I absolutely love it, and I think it's proper yummy with a bit of turmeric. I'm going to turn over here. Just keep stirring that. Don't. Oh, that is getting proper fluffy now. I like that. We're so nearly done. Right, I'm going to put a bit of butter on this. While it's still hot. Poke the toaster down. I do like brown bread, especially if it's got little seeds in it. I think it's just so much tastier. And white bread is really kind of quite harmful to you. It's not a good thing to be eating all the time. I think if you're having a bacon baguette or something, I think white bacon baguette is just much nicer. So we can just get a look inside the pan, and we can see that coming along really nicely. I'm just going to shoot in here and just see if I can see something really quick. Yeah, there's another little thing that I do now and again, which is just putting a little bit of mixed herbs in there, like I did with the turmeric. I don't think turmeric and mixed herbs really works very well. I don't think it's a great mix. Always when you're making eggs, make sure that they are properly cooked, because you have that salmonella thing. The thing that I do like mixed herbs for is with a little can of baked beans on toast. Baked beans, very underrated, full of fibre, wonderful if you're pregnant, I'm told. Putting in a bit of mixed herbs makes them extra tasty. And baked beans are one of your 5 a day, like for fresh stuff and things with, you know, just goodness in. When we talk about 5 a day, we probably need more than these kind of 5 fruit and vegetables a day. Probably more like 8 or 9 at least. That is just about done now. Have a look at that. I mean, we haven't even been 10 minutes doing this. Right, I'm going to get my other bit of bread here. Just put a little bit of margarine on it. And this is a meal here which is about 500 calories. Maybe it's a little bit more because I've got that bit of bread, but it's certainly not going to be as much as 6. And as I said, if you're a bloke, you need about 6 foot, probably need about 2,200 calories a day to maintain your weight. If you're not doing 2,200 calories, you're going to be losing weight. And that's the name of the game here. Obviously being active is important, so I do make a point of walking every day, but unfortunately doing a kind of 3-4 mile hike every day just doesn't work for me because I'd be in a fair amount of pain. I think we are seconds off done. These are glass, so I'm just going to put these back in the cupboard so that the cats can't knock them over because I don't want to be going down the vets. And I'm going to say, happy days, that is done. Let's just plate it up here. You'll notice I'm using a non-stick pan, which is brilliant. Never, ever, ever, ever use metal in a non-stick pan. Let's just leave that on the side there. I will get the rest out of it in a moment, but I'm conscious that you just want to see me have a little taste of it. Hang on. So let's got a little bit of margarine on it. Let's have a see how it goes. That is absolutely magnificent. What's that cost me for lunch? Probably about, not even a quid. Maybe a couple of eggs, 3 slices of bread. Definitely lunch for under £1, and it is magnificent for you. Happy days, have a go. So scramble some eggs, a little bit of milk in there, rerun the video, bit of turmeric, just keep stirring it, and some brown bread on toast. Wicked. Happy days.